Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Current Connect series. In today's episode, we will cover the latest developments for the month of August, right? So let's get started. In the first topic, we delve into a crucial aspect of parliamentary proceedings that has been making headlines recently, which is the no confidence motion. Now let's understand why this has become a point of discussion in the recent monsoon session of the parliament, and let's break down what a no confidence motion is all about, right? So first of all, a no confidence motion is a legislative resolution which is introduced in the Lok Sabha, which allows the opposition or the opposing party to challenge the government's majority and its ability to run the government, right? And in a parliamentary democracy like our nation, a government can only stay in power if it commands a majority in the directly elected house or the Lok Sabha, right? So if a no confidence motion is passed, that means the current government must resign because it proves that the government is no longer enjoying majority in the House of People, or otherwise known as the Lok Sabha, right? And this process is enshrined in our constitution under the Article 75 Clause 3, which specifies that the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha only, right? And also the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha, which is under Rule 198, provides the procedural aspects regarding the no confidence motion, right? And interestingly, the no confidence motion did not specify any grounds, and even if mentioned, they do not form the part of the motion. And additionally, unless the House grants leave, no speeches are permitted in support of the motion at the time of obtaining the leave, right? Now let's explore what are the implications of a no confidence motion. First and foremost, when the no confidence motion passes, or the passing of a no confidence motion, this leads to a resignation of the Council of Ministers, and it will potentially create a political vacuum, right? And the sudden removal of the political executive may result in administrative confusion and policy uncertainty as well. Moreover, politically motivated no confidence motions can affect the optimal time utilization in the parliament, isn't it? And finally, if no party can prove the majority, the citizen might have to bear the expenses of conducting another general election again, right? So that is all about the no confidence motion that was recently in news. Now moving on, next topic is on the surge of remittances to India, inward remittances to India, right? So let's dive into the details first. So in the fiscal year 2023, the remittances to India saw an impressive surge of 26% recently, and reaching to around $112 billion. And this marks a significant increase from the approximately $89 billion recorded in the previous financial year, that is in the fiscal year 2022. Now, what's driving this remarkable growth? Actually, it is a reflection of the heightened demand for Indian professionals globally, which is a trend that gained momentum in the wake of recent pandemic, right? But first, let's understand what remittances are. So, the remittances are funds that are sent by migrants to their families and friends in their home countries, right? And for many developing nations, particularly in the South Asia, these funds serve as a vital income and contribute significantly to the country's foreign exchange reserves. In the context of India, the private remittances play a crucial role in offsetting the trade deficit that we have with other countries in terms of the merchandise trade, and they are typically classified as a part of the current account in the India's balance of payment, right? And now let's look at India's status in the global remittance landscape. India has consistently held the position of the leading global recipient of the remittances for several years now. And interestingly, this is in contrast with the foreign direct investment, or the FDI inflows, which were lower at about $71 billion in the fiscal year 23, down from about $85 billion in fiscal year 22, right? And in the year 2022, the top 5 recipient countries for remittances were India. First one is India, then Mexico, then China, then Philippines, and then Pakistan. And the inward remittances, that is the countries from which the remittances come, consist of the United States, that is the USA, which took the lead with over 23% of the remittances to India, followed by UAE, or the United Arab Emirates, which consists of about 18%, UK about 7%, then Singapore about 6%, and then Saudi Arabia around 5%, right? So that is all about the current status of remittances that come into India. Moving on, next topic is on innovation and urban development as we explore the Indian Smart Cities Award Contest 2022. It is organized under the visionary Smart Cities mission by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and it recognizes and celebrates cities, projects and ideas that are propelling sustainable development across 100 smart cities in India. Right? Let's take a closer look. The ISCSC, or the Indian Smart Cities Award Contest, is a platform that goes beyond acknowledging the achievements, and it rewards those which are instrumental in fostering inclusive, equitable, healthy, and collaborative cities. Right? And this initiative is in its fourth edition. This is the fourth edition and has been a beacon of inspiration since its inception in 2018. So it was started in 2018, and since then 3 more editions were also there. And each edition has showcased the dedication of cities and projects towards making urban spaces more sustainable for Indian citizens, right? And now let's shine a spotlight on the top 3 smart cities that stood out in the awards program. The gold, silver and the bronze for the top 3 smart cities goes to Indore, Surat and Agra respectively, right? And because these cities have demonstrated excellence in implementing innovative solutions for urban challenges. And moving beyond individual cities, the award also recognizes the collective efforts of the states as well. And the top 3 states that lead the smart city initiatives are Madhya Pradesh comes first, Tamil Nadu, and then Rajasthan, right? And lastly, the top union territory in the award list is Chandigarh. So that is all about the Indian Smart Cities Award. Next is the highlights from the recent 15th BRICS Summit, which was held in Johannesburg, South Africa. And this marked a significant moment as it was the first in-person meeting since 2019 after the pandemic hit, right? Let's dive into the details. So first of all, the BRICS Summit brings together 5 major economies, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And to begin with, the BRICS nation collectively represent 41% of the world's population, 24% of the world's GDP and 16% of the international trade. So that is the importance of BRICS, right? And the concept of BRICS was first introduced in 2001 by an economist called Jim O'Neill, and he identified that these nations as which are rapidly growing economies with large population and young workforce, and predicted that they would become major drivers of the global economy by 2050, right? And starting with regular summits in 2006, the group expanded with the inclusion of South Africa in 2010, and this leads to the change in name to BRICS, right? And over the years, they have collaborated on initiatives like New Development Bank and the Currency Reserve Agreement and fostering economic growth and development as well, isn't it? And now let's dive into the details of the recent summit that was held in Johannesburg. So South Africa set the theme as BRICS and Africa, Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development and Inclusive Multilateralism. So, if as the name suggests, the theme emphasizes collaboration for shared progress, isn't it? And the summit saw an agreement to expand BRICS with 6 new members countries will be joining in January 2024. And these countries include Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And the leaders signed the Johannesburg II Declaration, which encapsulates significant BRICS point of view in terms of global economic, financial and political matters, right? And the summit also emphasized in enhancing the strategic partnership with a focus on areas like promoting peace or more representative international order, shared collaboration towards sustainable development and inclusive growth, etc. Right? And another notable development was the task given to these BRICS finance ministers to consider the issue of local currencies. That is, the trade among the BRICS nations should in their respective local currencies, right? And various payment instruments and platforms as well. And lastly, the statement expressed the BRICS countries the support for comprehensive reform of the United Nations as well, including its Security Council, right? So that is all about the recent BRICS summit that was held in Johannesburg. Next topic is on a cutting-edge solution employed by the UIDAI to combat fraud in Aadhaar-enabled payment system, or the AEPS. So it is called a finger minutia record, finger image record. So FMR FIR modality, right? And let's get into the details. So the FMR FIR is a sophisticated technology that combines artificial intelligence and machine learning to enhance the security of the Aadhaar-enabled payments, right, or the transaction. This FMR FIR modality operates by verifying the authenticity of fingerprints during an authentication, and it achieves this by combining two crucial components. First one is finger minutia, which are the distinct reach characteristic, and then the finger images. And the primary goal is to detect cloned fingerprints, which will ensure that only genuine fingerprints are used for verification, isn't it? And this dual-layered approach enhances security and acts as a robust defense against fraudulent activities in the Aadhaar-enabled payment system, right? But why is this technology so crucial? Well, in the fiscal year 2023, the banking system reported a total amount of 13,530 fraud cases, with nearly 49% falling under the digital payment category, right? So as payment-related frauds are continue to rise, there is an imperative need for an advanced security measure, isn't it? And hence, this AI-enabled solution holds immense significance, and it not only enhances security but also acts as a proactive measure to curb fraudulent activities within the AEPS, or the Aadhaar-enabled payment system, isn't it? So now moving on to the next topic, which is on the 16th General Review of Quotas at the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF. So this call, championed by the RBI Governor Shashikant Das, has significant implication for the global economic landscape. And now let's unravel the details. But before that, let's first address the key issues highlighted by the RBI. So one of the concerns raised is the IMF's funding conditions often drive nations in urgent need to seek assistance elsewhere, because the conditions were very stringent that were put forward by the IMF, and the conditions like fiscal austerity and high interest rates associated with this IMF support can be actually counterproductive for economies that are in distress, right? And Governor Das also stressed the need for a larger, stronger and more inclusive IMF, which is capable of effectively managing the country risk. Moreover, RBI also underscored that the crucial role that are played by the IMF and the World Bank in addressing the global debt vulnerabilities of different low-income countries as well. And hence, therefore, there is a call for the for these institutions like IMF and World Bank to do more for the countries that are in debt distress, isn't it? So now let's understand the IMF quota system and the special drawing rights, or the SDRs. So when a country joins IMF, it contributes a sum known as the quota subscription, right? And this quota is determined using a formula, and the formula involves a weighted average of GDP, openness of the economy, economic variability, and international reserves of the particular country. And GDP is measured using both market exchange rates and as well as in the purchase power parity exchange rates, right? And now special drawing rights, or the SDRs, are the IMF's unit of account. So their value is determined by a basket of major currencies, right? Which includes US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, pound sterling, and Chinese renminbi, right? And now these quotas that are expressed in SDRs represent member countries' contribution to IMF and their claim to the currency held by the IMF, right? And importantly, the most important aspect of this quota is that voting power at the IMF is actually linked to these quotas. So larger the quotas means greater influence in decision making of IMF. So that is all about the IMF quota. Next, we're diving into the world of cybersecurity to discuss a significant threat that has been making waves, that is the Akira ransomware. So it's a malicious software which targets both Windows and Linux devices, which is causing concerns in various sectors. So let's dive into the detail. First of all, ransomware is a type of malware that hijacks computer data and holds the data hostage, right? And then these attackers demand payment, which is often in bitcoins, in exchange for restoring access to the encrypted files. So this ransomware encrypts data on affected device. The Akira ransom ransomware, it encrypts the data on affected device and appending the file names with the .akira extension. To make the matters worse, it deletes Windows shadow volume copies, which hinders the data recovery in the further period. So the attackers don't stop there, and they terminate the Windows service to ensure that there is a uninterrupted encryption. And after stealing and encrypting the sensitive data, they demand a ransom or amount, right? And they also threaten to release the data on the dark web if the demands are not met. And this ransomware, that is Akira, spreads through phishing emails, drive-by downloads, specially crafted web links, and also through insecure remote desktop connections. It has targeted various domains including education, finance, real estate, manufacturing, and consulting as well. And once inside a corporate network, it spreads laterally to other devices by using the stolen window domain admin credentials in the corporate setup, right? And so that is all about this Akira ransomware. Next, the Aditya L1 mission is set to mark a historic milestone as India's first and inaugural space exploration dedicated to observing the sun and its corona. So now, what makes this mission truly unique is its destination, that is the L1 orbit, or the first Lagrangian point of the Sun-Earth system. So why L1 orbit? Well, it allows the Aditya L1 an uninterrupted view of the sun. Now Aditya L1 is going to reach this special vantage point, that is the L1 point, on the tried and tested PSLV XL launch vehicle, right? But what's the mission's goal? The primary objective is to study the solar upper atmosphere, specifically the chromosphere and the corona. And the mission aims to unravel the mysteries of the solar corona and understand the mechanism behind its heating. And Aditya L1 is equipped with 7 payloads, with each serving a unique purpose, but the most important of them is the Visible Emission Line Chronograph, or VELC for short. It's a solar chronograph with a range of capabilities including simultaneous imaging, spectroscopy, and spectropolarimetry, right? Now let's talk about the Lagrangian point. Well, these are like cosmic balancing points where gravitational forces of two massive bodies and the centripetal force required for a smaller object are in perfect equilibrium or harmony, right? In simpler terms, these points offer a sweet spot for spacecrafts, allowing them to maintain a position with minimal fuel consumption, right? So Aditya L1's choice of the L1 Lagrangian point is a strategic move for an energy efficient solar mission, right? So that is all that you need to know about the Aditya L1 mission. Next up, the researchers in India have achieved a significant breakthrough in mustard plant breeding. Now, imagine a mustard with all the flavors but a lot less pungency. Well, that's precisely what these researchers have accomplished. So they have developed a varieties of mustard plants with lower level of glucosinolates. So, which is a compound responsible for that distinct pungency in mustard oil and meat. So they have used CRISPR-Cas9 technology, which is a cutting-edge gene editing technology, and with surgical precision, these researchers, they edited the specific genes which are responsible for transporting these glucosinolates to the seeds of the mustard plants. And now these low glucosinolate mustard lines have the potential to revolutionize the mustard industry, isn't it? And what's intriguing is that these gene-edited mustard lines are non-genetically modified or non-GM, which is a crucial distinction from transgenic genetically modified crops. And these research actually holds immense potential for India's domestic oilseed production as well, because there is a real possibility of reducing the country's dependency on imported vegetable oils and making a significant stride towards self-sufficiency in terms of vegetable or the cooking oil in India, isn't it? Next up, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has officially notified the Indian Green Hydrogen Standard, setting the stage for a sustainable future, right? Now, this standard, which is a part of National Green Hydrogen Mission, brings us to the forefront of the global green hydrogen movement, right? Now, what exactly is a green hydrogen? Well, it's a hydrogen that is produced using renewable energy sources through processes such as electrolysis or biomass conversion. This is a game changer in the quest for cleaner energy alternatives. Now, the key to this standard are the emission threshold. To be classified as green, the well-to-gate emission, which all includes the water treatment, electrolysis, gas purification, and much more processes that must not exceed 2 kilograms of CO2 equivalent per kilogram of hydrogen produced, right? So this stringent criterion ensures the true green nature of the hydrogen, isn't it? And the Bureau of Energy Efficiency takes the lead as the nodal authority, and it will accredit the agencies responsible for monitoring, verifying, and certifying the green hydrogen production projects. So this is a crucial step in maintaining the transparency and reliability. Now, the green hydrogen mission unfolds through some strategic programs. First off, the strategic intervention for green hydrogen transition program, or the SITE, which offers financial incentives and encourages the adoption of green hydrogen, right? And next one is the strategic hydrogen innovation partnership, or the SIP, which introduces a public-private partnership framework for research and development. And this pushes these initiatives. They are pushing the boundary towards a greener transition of the energy sector as well, right? Next, this year marks the 6th anniversary of the Minamata Convention on Mercury, which is a global pact designed to shield humanity and the environment from the detrimental effects of mercury exposure. Firstly, let's grasp the basics. Mercury, as you know, is a naturally occurring element and is omnipresent in our air, water, soil, right? However, this can have severe toxic effects on various parts of our bodies, including the nervous system, thyroid, kidneys, lungs, immune system, eyes, gums, and skin as well. Now, the Minamata Convention on Mercury was born out of the 5th session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee in Geneva, Switzerland, which was held in 2013, and after that, it officially entered into force in 2017. So, what does this convention entail? So, one of the pivotal obligations is the control of anthropogenic releases of mercury throughout its life cycle. From production to usage and even disposal, the convention strives to minimize the impact of these elements on our planet. And the Minamata Convention goes beyond mere restriction. It addresses the interim storage of mercury, its proper disposal, and tackles the remediation of sites contaminated by mercury. And additionally, the convention has health-related provisions as well, which acknowledges the multifaceted nature of mercury's impact on human and environment. And a noteworthy point here is that India has also ratified the Minamata Convention, and it shows that it's India's commitment to global effort in aiding the global effort in curbing mercury-related risk and ensuring a safer environment for its citizens, right? Next, August 2nd actually marks the Earth Overshoot Day for the year 2023. So what does this day signify, and why is it so crucial for our planet? Well, Earth Overshoot Day is not just a day, it's a powerful marker. It represents the moment when humanity's demand for ecological resources or services surpasses what the Earth can actually generate in that given year. In a sense, it's the day when we start living on borrowed resources, isn't it? Now, the Global Footprint Network, which is an international research organization, is dedicated to measuring and monitoring our impact on the planet. And since 1971, they have been calculating the Earth Overshoot Day. And it involves multiplying the planet's biocapacity, which is the quantity of ecological resources Earth can generate each year, by humanity's ecological footprint, which is our demand for resource in that same year. And this result is then multiplied by 365, representing each day of the year, right? And it signifies that from this point forward, we are utilizing more resources than Earth can ever replenish in that entire year. And it's a reminder that the ecological debt we accumulate and the strain we place on our planet. However, the Earth Overshoot Day also serves as a call to action, isn't it? And it prompts us to reassess our consumption pattern, invest in sustainable practices, and to work towards achieving a balance between our needs and the Earth's carrying capacity, or the Earth's capacity to provide, right? Coming to the last topic, which is a meteorological phenomena called Fujiwara effect. So the Fujiwara effect, as described by the National Weather Service, unfolds when two hurricanes or cyclones spinning in the same direction draw close to each other around their common center. And in some rare scenarios, if the two cyclones involved are considerably are of considerable intensity, they may merge into a single entity called a megacyclone, right? And this cyclone, formed through the merging process, has the potential to wreak havoc along the coastlines, which can pose a significant threat to human settlements as well as to environment. And the Fujiwara effect made its debut over the Western Pacific Ocean in 1964 when typhoons Mary and Kathy merged into a megacyclone. And the term Fujiwara effect comes from its identifier, Sukai Fujiwara, a Japanese meteorologist, first identified and documented this phenomenon in 1921. Right? So that is all about the Fujiwara effect. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Current Connect. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights and knowledge about these crucial matters that we just discussed. Stay tuned for more updates in our next episode, where we will keep you informed about the latest developments in diverse fields. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world around you. Thank you again.